Hello team, I'm Colonel Failure and this is the Colonel Reduced for February 2019. Yeah, I did two things. Firstly, it's February. Okay, well, February's not too bad. But second, it's 2019 already. I mean, where does the time go? Where does the time go? Where did the colour in my hair go? I have absolutely no idea. Hello. Well, here we are again. Another month of senseless rambling for you. Hopefully you get something out of it. Feels like the camera's flipping miles away today, but evidently it isn't. Right then, what should we talk about? Oh, I've got some more stuff to put in my notes. Hold on, just bear with me. Just that one. Yep. Okay, good. Right. Okay, let's crack on. Hello. Good. That's the first time on the list. Let's start with some stats because it's quite exciting at the moment. Actually, I set adrift myself into 2019. Looking to achieve 10,000 views a day as my minimum, right? And that's kind of it's just an internal goal for you are doing this correctly if you never drop below 10,000 views a day. Now then, if we look at the averages for previous years, in 2018, I did averaged out over the whole year, I did 9,300 views per day on average. Now, I could tell you, without having to look it up, that there were several days where I dropped to 4,000 was my kind of baseline there. Usually, if I was covering games that were older or had less interest in, where my B series wasn't quite living up to expectation. Interestingly enough, all of the stuff that I did with Stegs, it never performed well. Despite the fact I thought it was some of the strongest stuff that I'd put out in terms of just being funny. And I think it was because the games that we were playing weren't necessarily part of the overall mood of the channel. So we weren't converting people from Transport Fever primarily, or Train Simulator now these days, over into watching two idiots mucking about. I'm going to adjust my pop sock. Hold on. There we go. Some people get a bit upset if it's not neat on the microphone there. Yeah, so it didn't convert people over very well. And when I was leaning heavily on multiplayer bits and pieces, as I was at the start of the year, sometimes that led to lower performing days. Equally, if I took a couple of days off of releasing a new video, that would have an impact as well. Now, I usually hit, and actually this would have been a good number to look up, I usually hit a video, let's say 6 days out of 7. Something like that. For the whole of 2018, I put out, oh crikey, yeah, forget that. I put out 396 videos in 2018. 396. That's a lot. 2018 was even worse. 2017, I should say. I put out 458, but that was largely fueled by the 80 episode. Excuse me. Oh, that's typical. I'm hoping I remember to remove that. Sorry, I inhaled wrong. 2017 was 458, but that was largely fueled by the Christmas special, which was 81 videos. But even if you take those away, you're still up in the 370, 380 mark. So, yeah, a video a day on average is about where I'm at. And to be honest, I've managed that for 4 years straight. That's pretty good going. Although 2016, I only did 252 videos. Interesting. 2015, I did 374. Strange, but true. Yeah, so the goal, the dream, friends, would be to do one video a week. Yeah, no, I'm not kidding. I'd love to be able to do one video a week that did, you know, the 100,000 plus views every time I stick one out. But I'm not there. I don't make that kind of content. I don't edit it well enough to be compelling, to be shared broadly. Sometimes I hit the nail on the head. The Tourist Bus was particularly good in terms of nailing a tone and nailing a mood. And some of the editing that went into that was particularly, you know, decent by my own measure. But it didn't get shared very widely, and not many people were looking for it in the first place, and therefore it didn't really do brilliant numbers. I think Tourist Bus kind of, we did like a 5,000, a 4,000, something like that. Yeah, I know. Because I've got the numbers right here, it's fatal leaving this open. I'm going to go look it up. Short run. No, that's Stellaris. Oh, that's a while back. Where are we? Tourist Bus. Tourist Bus. Here we go. Episode 1, 9,600. That's the stuff. Episode 3, 4,800. Not the stuff. Episode 3 is actually quite good. 2, I think, is probably the best one. 5,300 views. Perfectly good enough. Good enough in a 7 video a week cycle. But not good enough if I were to aim towards 1 video a week. Don't worry, I'm not going to transition or anything like that. I know that my material isn't yet strong enough to support a 1 video a week output. I would need to do an awful lot more work into it. Better still, it would be a 1 video a week running 30 minutes or less. And I know that, you know, an awful lot of you quite like the hour plus of Transport Fever that you're getting twice a week. I don't know what's wrong with me. You know, I used to be able to do 20-minute episodes, but I've lost that ability entirely. Although in the B series, I'm starting to tighten up my fist of justice. If I were to edit down to just the good stuff, then that would be fine. But again, quite a lot of people just like me just driveling on. Driveling? Yeah, whatever. While I get stuff, you know, while I do stuff 4 or 5 times to try and get it exactly as I want it. So I've got a format and I'm sticking with it. And that's that. Anyway, 10,000 a day. That's what we're aiming for. In 2018, it was 9,300. In 2017, it was 7,800. And in 2016, it was 3,800. So 10,000 a day, I want as my baseline. And what that should mean by the end of the year is that actually my daily average will be between 12 and 15,000 a day, because obviously you have some days that are bigger than others. And the last week is particularly testament to that. In the last 48 hours, I've served 45,000 views. For those of you who don't want to maths, that's 22,500 views a day. That'll do. Very nice. I know why it is as well. It's the double whammy of 2 games that are new to the channel, that have hit particularly well, but I got some uplift on them based on what I'd done before. So whenever you do something that is successful, usually it's not because of that thing itself, it's because the thing you did prior to that got a little bit of extra heat, which lifted things up. So in the case of where I'm at this year, the videos I stuck out at the tail end of the year, I'm going back to the spreadsheet. No, you're just going to have to live with it. So things like the Transpennine route on Train Sim World, that's currently sat on 24,000. The video immediately prior to that, and these were the ones over the Christmas break. The Transport Fever with the Natural Environment mod, that's currently on 26k. The cross-country high-speed Transport Fever, that's currently on 31k. These are very strong performing videos. And because I've been serving up so many views, I get recommended by YouTube to more people more regularly. At which point, your solitary goal has to be keep your foot depressed on the accelerator as much as you can. Views beget views, and it doesn't have to be on the same topic, although that makes a big difference. But the more you can keep your foot on the floor in that regard, the better. The interesting thing with Transport Fever actually is that since so when I was doing 1 episode a week of Transport Fever, it built up the number of views that each episode would get, right? And then when I went back to 2, it didn't degrade the views by 50%. It actually held on to that higher view count. So with Metropolis, the later episodes were getting, first week would have been maybe 6,000, maybe 7,000 views. Now, first week, they're getting maybe 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 views. That's a step up in the... I've got a pencil, always fatal. That's a step up in terms of progress. Anyway, in the last week, particularly successful, Derail Valley. Episode 1, 10k. Episode 2, 5.5k. That's okay. People like to check out the new thing and see if it's going to be for them. And that's absolutely, that's absolutely par for the course. Secondly, Foundation. Part 1 of Foundation has done 10k as well. Thank you very much. I'll take it. Don't wrap it. I'll write it home. Yeah, it's going jolly nicely. But it's because it's a new game, and having that that little warm up period before the new game comes out means that when people see, oh, what's this new thing, and they then head to the YouTube and go, let's play such and such, or the other big one is game name gameplay. Some people will add in 2019 or the year that they want to see footage from. And if you've got something that is performing reasonably well and is reasonably recent, lo and behold, you can do quite nicely up in the search there. Tolokram, who is a Bad Company Kernel School member, set up a bunch of tutorials for Foundation, and they're performing really nicely for him. It's driving his channel upwards quite significantly. This is all good stuff. Anyway, this was fueled in part by my kind of Christmas schedule stuff that all did well, but more than that, it was by the Project Hospital live stream. That live stream that was 4 hours long contributed a significant number of minutes viewed to my output that week. And minutes viewed is a biggie. It counts more than views themselves, because what YouTube wants more than anything else is for people to stay on the platform. So if you can contribute an awful lot of minutes viewed, job's a good one. So longer videos that people watch all of are brilliant. Longer videos that people don't watch hardly any of are awful. They will hurt you more. You are better off making a 2-minute video where people watch 1 minute 50 seconds than a 2-hour video where they watch 1 minute 52 seconds. Okay? I'm not entirely sure where the switch mark is, but you want to get people watching as much of your video as possible. Not least of all because then people will then, potentially watch something else as well, potentially subscribe, that kind of jazz. Right, so, yes. So that's that. So I'm well over the mark for 10k a day at the moment. In fact, I was going to write that down. I wrote some summary notes here, but I didn't bother writing this one down, which is a good stat. Where are we up to? I've done... Well, that can't possibly be right. No, there you go. I've done 491,000 views in the year to date. Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Yeah, 491,000 views. And just to put that into context, that's more than I did in my first 2 years on YouTube. 491k, I could bring up the calculator, but I'm not going to bother. That was recorded on the 3rd of Feb. And therefore in 34 days I've done 491k. So that's probably pushing 15,000 a day in terms of the number of views that I'm averaging. Perfect. Long may it continue. Right, to round out on this whatchamacallit, the stats summary, which I've gone on about a bit, and I know that stats will leave some of you a little bit cold, but hopefully I'm delivering them with panache, and therefore that's delightful. Where are we? Yeah, so January was the 4th largest month I've had in my YouTubering. Hooray! Yay! Party time. Yeah, and I mean that's pretty good, given that these are B quality games that I'm putting out. I don't mean quality as in the game is no good. I mean it's B, quality as in it's not AAA. It's not got an audience of millions upon millions of people who want to watch it. Transport Fever is probably still the biggest thing that I do. Maybe Train Sim sits in there as well. But by and large, you're talking about games that have got a player base of under 50,000, if that. And therefore, you're never going to generate a huge amount of interest in a game that doesn't have a huge amount of interest. So yeah, fourth biggest month ever with 491,000 views and an extra 1,800 subscribers. I see. I've been doubtful about whether I would hit 50k. Social Blade, which is a channel tracking tool, believes I'm going to hit 50,000 in late September, early October. I'm still not. I mean, that's another, what are we talking, 16,000 subscribers between now and then. If you say so there, Social Blade, but at the pace I'm going right now, it certainly seems plausible. The challenge then becomes finding new stuff to cover that's going to keep that momentum up. Don't know. We'll see. Anyway, it's all jolly positive. For those of you who are interested, the biggest month of all time is Transport Fever's release month, where I did 6,200 new subscribers, along with 598,000 views. So 600,000 views versus what I just did, which was, I mean, for sake of argument, it was, 400,000 views. The gap's not significant. The subscriber gap's significant, but the gap for views really isn't all that big. Incidentally, I worked out if I can get to about 100,000 views a day, then AdSense can pay my salary. All right, only 10x, big jump required there. Right, there you go. So let's go on to what are we actually recording at the moment. Transport Fever is continuing. I mentioned in a comment, actually, that I know what I'm going to do for my final Transport Fever series. Final, right? There was lots of consternation. What do you mean, final series? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, all right, calm down. Easy there, Tiger. What do I mean by final? I mean, I want to continue with that series up until the point that I don't cover Transport Fever anymore. That could be a year and a half. This might be a terrible idea. I already know what I'm going to do. Don't get me wrong, mainline is, I'm not done with it yet. I think there's at least another 20 episodes in it. But I know what I'm going to do with the final series. And the other reason for saying it's the final series is that hopefully there will be something to replace it. I don't know. I don't have any insider knowledge on that front. The only conversation I've had with Urban Games, I spoke at length with Tom, who's their community manager, and he wouldn't even let me in on it. I'm an industry insider, damn it, and he wouldn't tell me. As well as their #1 influencer in chief and glorious fanboy. No, wouldn't tell me. Yeah. And even if he did, I wouldn't tell you, because, my lips are sealed and then such things are sacred and other things. So yeah, I've got no insider knowledge at all. The only thing he would tell me was, well, given what we've made in the past, it's a fair assumption that whatever we've got coming next is going to be somewhat related. I go like, oh, cheers, thanks, could have figured that out for myself. So they're being very cagey. They announced Transport Fever originally after Transport Fever at E3. And so if they're on a 2-year development cycle, which is what they managed to do last time round, then I would expect to hear something at E3 this year, if not a little beforehand. This year's AAA window, so the typical window is between September and December. More games are sold in that period than in the rest of the year put together. Yeah, I know. That's why you get so many big games hit around then. There is potentially a case of post hoc ergo propter hoc going on there. Have some Latin up your face. But no, it is because of the gifting season, because it's post holidays, because it's name any number of things. It has historically always been that way. Now, if you've got a smash hit like a Red Dead Redemption 2, or if you've got a Beyond Good and Evil 2, or anything else that might have a 2 coming after it, you can release that at a different stage in the year and potentially do well. But if you look at the tail end of last year when Red Dead 2 came out, look at how many games just ran away from it. And very wise as well. That's not cowardice on the part of the game publishers. That's on the basis of this game is going to suck all of the oxygen out of the market. You are better off pushing it into New Year. And that's why we're getting Beyond Good and Evil 2 soon, rather than its original slated date. If you see a game, just another piece of insider information for you, if you see a game move from February to April, there's usually a very good reason for that, and it's not what you think. You will be told, we're going to take a little bit of extra time to put some polish on this thing because we want to make sure it's put. It's total lies, total rubbish. I mean, they will take some extra time to put all of those things in, but that's not why they moved it. It's because they didn't need it in that financial year. So financial year 101, all right, flipping heck, I'm giving away all the secrets. Financial year 101, very straightforward, is if I tell my investors and my board at the start of the year that I'm going to do 100 million quid in terms of revenue over the course of the year, and I come in at 120 million, they're not happy with me. They're slightly happy because it's 20 million over. Equally, if I tell them I'm going to do 100 million, I come in at 90 million, they're also they're not happy with me. But they're less unhappy than if I did 120 million. Why? Because they have to be able to trust that I can forecast. They have to be able to trust that when I say we're going to do this amount, that's the amount we do. If a success takes me by surprise, I don't know my product. If I don't hit my numbers, I don't know my market. And therefore, you want to get as close to what you've said you're going to do as possible. So if a company moves a game out of one financial year into another one, it will be because of one of two reasons. Reason number one, they've already hit their number for the year, and therefore, or they look at the year and they kind of go, yeah, we're going to hit this. We don't need this product in this year. And this could be anything. This could be umbrellas. It could be cheesecake. It could be whatever. Whereas if they kind of go, this year's hosed, even with the release of the new thing, we probably won't hit the year. Well, in fact, we certainly won't hit the year. In which case, you may slip it out into next year in order to say, right, let's make that year a complete write-off and then start with a fresh attack at the start of the new year. There you go, some details for you. Yeah, if you want more of that kind of stuff, just comment. Right, yeah, where am I? All right, what am I recording right now? Oh, I'm recording this, and I need to start it again because we're at the end of the cycle. Right, so what have we got going on at the moment? Transport Fever, not going anywhere. I know what I'm doing in the last series, but the existing series still has a way to go. I already said that. Moving on. Foundation is the new current B series, but I don't know how long it will be. I've put out 5 so far, and they've held their numbers okay. They're only doing, something, let's look it up. I've got me thingamajiggle just about here somewhere, videos. Press that button, that's always helpful. In your own time there, YouTube, come on. It's not like I'm on camera or anything. To which it replies, it's not like you edit, ever. Yeah, but 4,000 at the kind of regular size there. Needs to be a little bit higher than that. 4,000 is good enough, just about. 5,000, and it can stick around as long as it likes. Project Hospital, by the end of it, was doing 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, something like that. It's not really enough. That's why I wrapped the series, to be honest. I could have... also because I'd kind of run out of things to say. There is only a finite number of times you can make the same jokes and them still resonate in any way at all. You need the emergence of something new in order to stimulate an exciting witticism or something, or whatever you want to describe it as. So Foundation for now, I imagine it will get to 10 episodes, that is. And then I'll probably review it around that point and kind of go, shall I stick with this? And the question will then be, well, what are you going to move to? All of these questions need to be answered, but that's my thinking as far as Foundation is concerned. So that's the new B series. Project Hospital, very much enjoyed it. Got to 30 odd episodes, and yeah, ran its course. The live stream at the end was very relaxed. That it was one of the most fun streams that I've done in terms of just general chatter and having a rare old time in there. So if you came along for that, thanks very much. That was good laugh. I enjoyed that. The challenge of getting to minor donations from as many currencies as possible. That I hadn't planned that. We ended up with 13 currencies. Brilliant. Yeah, I confused the hell out of PayPal. But that was fun. Right, and then Derail Valley is the current C series. Although you say series, I'm only going to do one more. I'll probably revisit it in the future, but right now it's a 3 and out. Now then, part of this comes into, throw your pencil away, comes into where certain timings of things, right? Is treat transport fee as though it doesn't exist, right? It's a lock-in. Monday, Friday. Guaranteed I won't move that. It's a format that works really well. But what do you do with the rest of the week? You've got 5 days to play with. Sunday you've got Motorsport, which comes out for you chaps. I try and put something out on the main channel as well, but don't always succeed. But what's the best way to proceed, right? This isn't a question you can necessarily answer, but feel free to pontificate in the comments if you feel the need to do so. If I'm doing a train sim or something like that, Saturdays feels good. Wednesdays, potentially. I'm talking to the chaps at Dovetail and going like, can you give it to me with like a day or two to spare so I could put it out on launch day? It would make a big difference to my my channel operations. But as yet, no, I've not managed to get any success of that kind in the slightest. Yeah, but so train sims are either going to be a Wednesday or a Saturday, but they're one-offs. I've seen already that you can put out a monstrously successful video on a route. You won't get any traffic for a second visit. So, you know, the Long Island Railroad, the first one just entered the top 10 all time for views. It's just hit 60,000 views. Part 2 has done 6,000 views. You just kind of go, oh, okay, no one's interested in seeing you have a second crack at that then. Fine, we won't bother. We'll do it once, we'll pick something that looks interested, and then we'll do a one and out. Works for me, allows me to keep it special, keep it sacred, keep myself hapless in the operation of such things. And that's a good thing. But going back to the point I was originally going to make is that a lot of people, particularly when a game is new, they want to see lots of stuff on that game as quickly as possible. So if I were to dump everything that I did, including Transport Fever, and just run Foundation at the moment for 7 days a week, it would probably perform a little better. But I'm not going to do that. I don't, because I'm a fan of having long-running series, despite the fact that I've only got 3, maybe 4 games that I've covered for more than... No, it's about 5. It is about 5. That I've covered for more than 20 episodes. Let's say 25, because American Truck came in at 20, something like that. I don't hit many series that run for a long time. There you go. That's a better way of saying it. And you really benefit from those further down the stream, because it means that people can go and you know, happily binge watch hours of stuff on a game if they feel the need to do so, if they enjoy it. And every week, without fail, I see people that are picking up on old playlists and just charging through them. It's why quite often I'll stick a link to a playlist up in my little to-camera end slate bit that I do on videos. Because if I think it's relevant and I think that new viewers won't have seen the old stuff, you've potentially turned one view or a handful of views there into 20, 30, 40, something like that. all of which adds to the momentum that drives the channel forward, right? Okay, so yeah, so I struggle with getting things out in a timely fashion. Trying to hit for day one, that's not too much of a challenge. You know when day one's going to be. You can usually juggle things around to get an episode 1 on day 1, an episode 2 on day 2, an episode 3, 4, 5 within a couple of days after that. I don't like putting out multiple episodes in one day because you cannibalize them. Some people just kind of go, well, I'll just watch the latest one. I don't need to see the build up to that point. You've killed your own views there. Rather than put effort into something that isn't going to perform as well as it might do, you're better off applying each piece of effort once. That's my mentality anyway. So I don't know. City Skylines is coming back. I've got a very strong concept for it. I've been doing quite a lot of work behind the scenes, as has a friend of mine called Onion Jack, who you will be familiar with. He's been working on something rather marvellous. I just need to get around to it. I've got to do a little bit of experimentation, and that means not playing Mount and Blade in the evening when I've got time off, and yeah, and actually doing the final couple of bits of testing to make that work, and then we can get underway with it. It's going to be, let's have a think. It's not going to be live commentary, so I don't mean it's going to be speed. Well, yeah, no, it is going to be speed builds. It's going to be cinematic plus how I built it after the effect, sped up footage, but with commentary, is what I'm going to do. I'm going after that market because that market is significant. There are half a dozen, if not more, channels that are doing extravagant builds in City Skylines, and they're getting 6-digit view numbers from it. And I think I can break into that. Without going like, hello, I'm going to do an authentic build today of the surrounding area of Slough, which is one of the gems in the southern part of England, inside the ring of the M25. We start today with some shrubbery. We're going to place the shrubbery quite carefully. Although people might go for that if I delivered it in that fashion. But no, that's not what I'm doing. It's going to be all me. It's going to be typical my type of commentary type of stuff. Maybe a little bit less haphazard, maybe a little bit more. Here's the thought process that went into it. But the super weapon that I'm bringing to the party is that I'm doing an awful lot of post-processing on it. A hell of a lot of sound effects and music and audio, and there will be some guest stars turning up as well. Colonel School, I will be coming to you first for some roles. Yeah, so that's going to be coming up as soon as I get around to it. I've got a concept right there, and it's really, 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 really good, and I've done a lot of work on researching it. Just need to get around to actually making it. I just need to get around to making it is a flawless segue into stuff that's 3 more items down the list. All right, well, we'll get to that in a minute then. Next live stream, no plans at the moment. Don't know what it's going to be, when it's going to be, or what it's going to be, or when, or what, or indeed when. But there will be one. I enjoy live streaming a great deal. Just need to figure out what I'm doing. I'm open to suggestions. I know you're all going to say Transport Fever. I'm not going to do a Transport Fever live. I try and save that for the end of the series, right? It's a nice way to wrap it up. A mid-series Transport Fever would possibly suit if I had a big project going on. But then it'd be like watching Slim do his TPF builds. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but he spends an awful lot of time head down and focusing on what he's building rather than chatting away merrily to people. And if I'm doing a concentration build of some description where I need to keep my wits going, then I'll do that as a speed build, either with music or with me doing some post-commentary. So, yeah, don't know. Right, Sports Ball. Woohoo! Coming up on the end of the second season of Sports Ball, and we do have a couple of openings available. The big question right now is, can anybody beat the Eagles at any point ever in history? Signs point to no Frankly, we'll see how the rest of the season goes, but I fully expect that they're going to be completely undefeated all season. Shawma, who runs the Eagles, is in a class of her own. She is better than any other coach that is currently playing in the game. In part due to the amount of effort put in, and in part probably due to the osmosis of learning from the other experts who play the game. Can't fault it. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is supposed to be a little casual league thing, so we might have to, maybe come up with a champion of all time trophy for Shawma at some point in the future. Don't know. I'll give that some further thought. On a related note, Fail Brigade, Urban Darkness and his team of merry wizards have been working on the Fail Brigade site. The full spec should be delivered to him pretty soon. Fail Brigade, quick recap for those of you who are unaware of it, is that it is a multiplayer matching service for people who are either trying to learn a game or just goof around in a game, or have a good, solid, competitive game without the foaming, raging, hatred-infused scum of the internet getting in the way. Multiplayer is arguably one of the best features of gaming in the internet era, but the one thing that you're never guaranteed is to actually play against decent people. Fail Brigade guarantees that you play against decent people only, and that if you want to have a beginner's game, then only beginners will turn up and play. If you want to have a don't take this too seriously game, then that's what you'll get. If you want you want to put together a fun-loving team to take their time through the first level of Left 4 Dead, good. You want some buddies to go and lark about in Battlegrounds, fine. That's what it's for. It's a matchmaking service. It's. I'm not going to say it's Tinder for gaming, because it's not. What it is it's using my experience of running games communities for 20 years, along with a few other people who've got community management history, to kind of curate the right people. And your bad company or YouTube membership gets you in for nothing, right? So I'm not trying to flog you something new there. I will be trying to flog it to a whole bunch of other people, however. If you run a channel, you can join this as an affiliate. Not yet. Wait for it. Wait for it. You'll be able to join us as an affiliate, where for a monthly fee per person, you can offer this to your backers as well. So it's a decent value add. You still get to benefit from the community infrastructure that I'll be building up, and it should just tick along. It's a bit of an experiment. Might work, might not work. We'll see. That's all there is to it. So that's coming along nicely. I wouldn't expect to see it before May, but you never know. Urban is working incredibly fast at getting it done. Faster, actually, than I wanted. I originally intended to start kicking this off at the end of January, so 4 days ago. Well, he started work on it in November, and there's a hell of a lot of functionality that's largely done now. Great. But yeah, he's ahead of my schedule, and therefore I've not written any documentation for it yet, which is typical. On the subject of being behind or ahead of schedule, the new store, I don't know. When am I going to take the time to pull that together? Maybe this week. I've got a lot going on. I've always got a lot going on. But yeah, the new store should be soon. There may be the opportunity for you to land some free swag, incidentally. I might need a couple of people to try it out to make sure it works. And if you are selected as one of the try it out and see if it works, I'll refund however much you've spent to get the piece of swag. Because I can't test receiving a package in Australia, because I'm not in Australia. I can't test does it trip up a delivery to the Netherlands or to Poland or Russia or anywhere, right? So I might need a few test people to give that a spin, and I'll refund anything any charges you incur, and you'll end up with a kernel failure apron. Marvellous. Last off for this month is Mirror State. Dun, 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 dun. This is a game I run. I designed it. I co-designed it. Well, I led the design, but I co-designed it with John, who I work with regularly. I am hosting these in the UK this year. I'm doing, what are we doing? 2 in London, 2 in Birmingham, and 3 in Cambridge. You are invited to come along. They are an awful lot of fun. If you've got questions, Discord is fine. The comments here are fine. If you didn't check out the video I posted last weekend, go and give that a look. It kind of explains them a little bit more. They're big board games, basically, with a little bit of role-playing, but it's not LARP. I mean, there's nothing wrong with LARP, but that's an acquired taste. Running around a forest with a pheasant on your head and a basket full of beanbags that you throw at people, pretending they're fireballs. It's imaginative. It's an awful lot of fun, but it might not be your cup of tea. This is not. This is this is a game, a live game for indoorsy folk who are happier just persuading people to. If you ever played Monopoly and you spent 5 minutes haggling with someone else over the sale of a particular property, you'll like this. I pretty much guarantee it. If you enjoy games where you stab other people in the back, and then afterwards you all have a really good laugh about it. Nobody takes this stuff personally in the slightest. Maybe once in a while someone might feel slightly victimised. But that's usually just because the wrong end of the stick has been gone. Anyway, look it up, ask questions. Yeah, I know, I'm flogging tickets. So there is that. There is a real possibility that I'm going to run a digital version of this game, exclusive for backers, actually, at some point this year. I've just got to figure out the tech of the thing to make that work. There is also the possibility that I evolve this into a digital experience. Where this would differ from playing a normal multiplayer game is that actually you'd want 3 or 4 of you in the same room playing a game over the internet. You wouldn't need controllers or any of that kind of jazz. It would be, can you use a website? Yes, no. But yeah, fully immersive experience. I've got some stuff that I'm working on that front. Yeah, I invite you to come sign up and whatever. All of that kind of jazz. Right, there you go. I think I've run out of money. I've got nothing else in my wallet of discussion for this week, this month. Oh, I only do one of these a month, don't I? Oh, there is that. Officers Club. I've got a flipping folder full of offshoots of video that I need to put together. The other thing that I wanted to do, still want to do, but haven't, is do a monthly highlights. I quite enjoyed my annual highlights video that I stuck together, and I thought, you know what, maybe a monthly highlights would be quite good. There was certainly good enough stuff in January. I mean, yeah, tourist bus in there, that was good. You got derail in there, that's good. There is plenty of pith to be had in that section. Maybe it's only 5 minutes long, but some kind of highlight reel would undoubtedly go amiss. Right, okay, there you go. I need to go and get back to work. I've got to go and record some more videos. And I better go do that. I've been Colonel Failure. Thank you very much for your ongoing support. It is jolly helpful. If I can get to the 50,000 sub mark this year, then maybe I can transition to a couple of days a week where I'm focused wholly on YouTube. I'm already doing one. I'm 100% focused to YouTube 1 day a week at the moment. But that's not quite enough time. I'll catch up with you very soon. Anything else? No, I think we're there. Cheerio.